The easiest way to get to the ASAA virtual venue is to click on one of these links. And what I would suggest is that when people first go to the venue, they would click on the first link for the welcome area. But maybe if they decide to come back in later on and they want to go to one of the other specific areas directly, they can click on the other links that are listed here, which will also be provided for everyone to use. So basically what you do is you click on the link and it will open a web page on your normal browser, which will be a Second Life page. And on the page, you will see there is this map with an orange button. Click visit this location and this window will pop up. Don't worry about what it says there. It will actually open the viewer that you're using, which is most likely going to be the Second Life viewer. So if I click that, it automatically opens, it starts up the viewer. So we'll just wait for that to happen. And then when the viewer has started up, you will see here that you have a couple of places to input your account name and then your account password. You don't need to put in anything else. Once you put those in, just click login. It may take a moment or two for the viewer to log in to the Second Life servers, and that will depend a little bit on your broadband speed, your internet connection. So it may take a little longer for some than for others. If you find that it ends up not connecting with the region, it just sits there, best thing to do is just to close the viewer and go through that process again. Okay, so we've now arrived in the welcome area of the ASAA virtual venue. So what I thought now we might do is just have a quick look at the various different locations here. So I'm just going to pop back to our list. So we're in the welcome area. Let's go and have a look at the poster stands. And again, you can access those directly through this link. So we shall walk over here. If you're not sure, there are plenty of signs around. So for example, there is the sign here and it says posters. And then you can walk over to the poster stands. Now, one of the things you're going to need to do is to be able to zoom. You may be able to stand close to the posters and read what's on them, but otherwise you'll need to zoom. So there are some instructions on this sign about how to do that. And basically what you need to do is click your camera controls and you'll see a screen like this pop up, and you can place that anywhere you like that's convenient. Click on the magnifying glass icon like that. Then put your new cursor with the magnifying glass on it over whatever it is that you want to zoom on. Using a mouse, hold down your left button and then push the mouse forward towards the computer, and that will zoom in, and then pull it away, back away from your computer towards yourself. That will zoom out. Okay. So if, for example, you sort of get, oh, your camera's not sure where it is, all you need to do is hit escape on your keyboard, and that will bring the camera back to its normal position. So just illustrate what I mean briefly. Over here we have a poster. Now we can stand up close to the poster and we might be able to read it by turning a little bit, which is okay, I guess, but it is a little inconvenient. What I would suggest is standing back a little bit, and then again we click camera controls, and then we click the magnifying glass. We move the magnifying glass cursor onto the poster somewhere, and then on your mouse press down the left button and push your mouse forward, and then you can actually read the text more clearly. So if you want to change the position, you can pull back, and for example I'll move my cursor down lower and click on my left mouse button and then push my mouse forward, and so that way I'll move my mouse over here, I can zoom in on the different content and read it more conveniently. The other way that you can also view the posters, you'll notice here on the camera controls that there is also a little mouse icon. If you click that, that takes you into first person view, where you're looking through the eyes of your avatar. So if you then walk forward, you can see that you're able to see the text more clearly. The disadvantage is, of course, the lower down text, you're going to be reading from an angle, but it certainly is one way to be able to read the text more clearly. Now, to get out of first person view, all you have to do is hit the escape key on your keyboard and you return to the normal view. So this is the poster area here, and you can see there's a couple of posters set out on the different stands. We then have our book and publisher stands. So that's this item here. So if we head back to the carpet here, you'll see over here we've got the sign books and publishers. We also have a couple of other things over that way which I'll show you shortly. So if we come down this way, go past here, and you'll see another sign down here which says publishers. So we need to go around to where the publishers are. Excuse me. Go up the stairs, and then you'll see there's a couple of stands here, and there are only a couple of stands this time. There are a couple of stands here. For example, this one here is for Monash, so I'm going to click my zoom magnifying glass icon there. I'm going to zoom up on there. So there's Monash University Publishing. I mean, here are some of the books that they've published. I can do the same with my zoom cursor. I can zoom up from a distance, see the books there, I can read the text there, and so on. The other thing is that these book stands and publisher stands, I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard to come back to my normal view. I can actually, if I want to get more information about any of these books, click on, let's say, click on this book here, Basudara Stories of Peace from Maluku. So I'm going to click on that with my mouse left button. I get this little pop-up message. I click go to page, and in my normal browser, whether it be Chrome or whatever it is that you're using, it will open up the relevant web page, and of course then you have the full details of the book. Okay, and if you want to, you can literally go from there and you can purchase the book. Okay, so just to say that again, basically you click on any of these books here, go to page, wait for a moment, and the book will come up with all those details. So that was the Monash publishers. We also have a book that was published by one of our esteemed conference attendees. Again, if I click my magnifying glass cursor, my zoom cursor, I can zoom up, I can have a look, see what the book is, read the brief introduction there. If I hit escape, excuse these messages, if I hit escape, I can then come back to my normal view. I click on the book, and once again, go to page, and it will open up details of the book. Just a point with this particular book, there is also a discount code. So if I come back to Second Life, you'll see up here in the floating text, there's a discount code, PT2022. But also when I click the book, you'll see on the pop-up message here, so just move that in there, you'll see there is a discount code mentioned there as well. So please keep an eye on the text in these pop-ups to see whether there's anything like a discount code. Okay, so that is the publishers and books area. So we might just flick back to our list here and see what comes up next. So we've got 3 art exhibitions, for lack of a better word. So you can go directly there by clicking on that link, or we can walk there. So let's just walk there for the moment. Come down here, and if we go to the right. And I think if I'm not wrong, this sign, no, okay, I might put a sign up there. Anyhow, you can see just off to the left of the entrance for the books and publishers area is the little area we have here with a couple of artists from various different places, and you can walk around. Now, these are exhibitions. These stands here are to some degree interactive. So, for example, again, I'm going to click my magnifying glass icon. I'm going to zoom up. I want to read a bit more about this particular artist. Now, if that angle is not right, I've got my two crosses here on my camera controls, you can see. If I click on that one, it changes the angle, so I can actually read more clearly the bio for this particular artist. If I want more details, so I'm going to go hit escape on my keyboard to go back to my normal view. I click on the sign. I get a pop-up message up here, which is offering me a note card. So I can keep, and here is the note card that's popped up. I can stretch that out and I can read more details about this particular artist. Okay, and then I can either just minimize that and come back to that later if I want, or I can close it. And the same applies for the other exhibitors here. You can click for a bio on the sign. In the case of this exhibitor, you can actually click for audio. So again, you get a go to page pop-up message here. So if we go to page, it's on Spotify. You may have to log in, I'm not sure. But anyhow, once you get to the page, you can click the normal. Okay, so we need to log in. I won't log in now. You can do that. You can sign up for free. If you have the app on your computer, you can do that. If you have an account already, you can just log in and you will be able to hear the let's just go back here. Is that going to let me go back? No, okay. I thought that might let me go back and I can show you. But anyhow, oh, here we go. Yes, we can. There we go. There we go. So you can listen to some audio about the artist. Going back to Second Life, and then we have our final artist down here. Again, similar thing. In this case, you can click on the sign for a detailed bio of the artist, but also on each of the paintings, you can click for more information. So again, you get this little pop-up message. If you click it, you will get a note card. And these are actually really interesting to read. I strongly recommend anyone that comes to look at the exhibition at these particular works to have a read of this, because the creator explains what each of the various different wayang represent for him. Okay, so moving along, let us go back to our list and have a look what we've got next. So we've just looked at our 3 art exhibitions. We have 2 simulation environments for you, for your enjoyment. The first is the sailing ship. It's a simulation of a sailing ship that brought Australian miners to Australia during the gold rush era. So again, you can click on this link here and go directly to that simulation, or we can have a look here in the hall itself. We go back this way and we will see, I'll go back to this sign just so that you can have a look at that. So here we can teleport to the Gold Rush Miners Camp, the sailing ship, and the dance dome, which we'll have a look at in a moment. So if we go over here, we can read the sign. It says, experience the journey of the Chinese gold miners during the gold rush era in Australia. So I would recommend going to the ship first, and to go to the ship, basically you just walk up to the door and you walk through the door. The first time you do it, and I can't demonstrate in this video because I've already done this, but you'll get a pop-up message on the, I think the right-hand side of your screen, asking you to give permissions, yes, or to deny permissions, no. So please be sure to click yes. You will only have to do that once, and then from that point on, when you go through these teleport doors, you won't need to do that again. So let's go through the teleport door. Okay, and we just need to wait for a moment for everything to appear. Okay, so we're now inside a ship that brought, I guess it's a replica of a ship that brought some of the miners to Australia. You'll see a sign in a couple of locations around here in the ship, but also at the Chinese miners' camp. So obviously you can have a look at the pictures, the drawings, the paintings that are on the sign. But if you click the sign, you'll get a pop-up message here. And the first thing you should do is to click Give HUD. After you click that, you'll notice down here at the bottom of your screen, a new item will appear called Audio Receiver KV5. All you have to do is just close this little message there and then click on the sign itself and choose Play Audio.
Audio will commence shortly.
Voyage to Australia. After the news of the gold discovery in Victoria spread around the world in 1851, a vast number of Chinese departed to Australia for the goldfields. The majority of them came from Guangzhou, known as Canton in 1850s, Guangdong province, on the southern Chinese coast. Some other gold seekers were from Macau, Xiamen, and Shanghai. Reflecting their diverse home villages and cultural backgrounds, these Chinese voyagers sailing to Victoria spoke at least 14 different dialects, such as Cantonese, Hakka, Hokkien, etc. From seaports such as Hong Kong, the voyagers boarded tall-masted sailing ships bound for Australia. Voyages to the colonies were sometimes so long, rough and overcrowded that many died on board, and more ashore, from disease and hunger. Sadly, some ships never arrived.
Now, unfortunately, there's no way to stop the audio halfway through other than you can right-click on this little audio receiver down here and choose Detach Item, and that will stop the audio. So yeah, please feel free to have a look around here. We've got some strange phenomena. I'm not sure why our virtual person is like that. I'll make sure to fix that. But once you've had a bit of a feel for what it was like inside one of these ships on the way from China, you can then go on to the miners' camp. So if you go upstairs, if you want to return to the main teleport hall, you just walk through that blue gate. If you want to go to the miners' camp, you walk through this one. I mean, as you can see here, it's quite rainy and it's stormy. They weren't very pleasant conditions. Anyhow, this is here for everyone to experience. And let's go to the miners' camp. So we just walk through and it brings us directly to the miners' camp. What I would suggest is when you get to the miners' camp, and also when you go back to the main hall, make sure to click this sign to keep the environment at daytime. It just makes it easier to see. So if your environment changes because it happens to be nighttime in the virtual environment, please click this sign to make it daytime and you'll see things are a lot clearer. So just briefly, we have the miners' settlement here. We have a number of different things for you to look at, including the Joss house and so on. Same principle if you want to find out information about any of these items here that you can see. So basically what you do is you, excuse the messages, click the sign there, choose Give HUD, and once again you'll receive one of the HUDs, and then again you can choose Play Audio, which we won't do this time because we've already done. So all of the signs have that functionality on them. So yeah, please feel free to have a look around. You can say hello to one of the Chinese miners there, and have you can learn a little bit about what life was like for the Chinese miners back during the gold rush in the 1850s through to about the 1890s, I think. Also here at the camp we have quite a lot of bird life, and you will hear that when you're here. So we have our cockatoos, who are like naughty little boys. They can be very noisy, and you will hear them squawking away at different points. I believe we have one flying around over here who you'll see. We also have the Australian kookaburra, and again you'll hear the kookaburra laughing away at different points. There he is up in the tree. And we have a couple of noisy magpies around here as well, who will at various different times sing their magpie song. And they have a beautiful sound because they're songbirds. Then we can come down to the creek, the river here, and again I'm going to click my magnifying glass icon, put it on the sign so I can have a look at the picture. So these are pictures of what life was like, taken at the time, of what life and conditions were like at the time. And again with this sign you can hit escape on your keyboard to go back to your normal view, so you get your normal cursor. And you'll notice the normal cursor is a pointed arrow, but if you put it onto something that is able to be clicked, it becomes a hand. And again, you know, we can, if you already have the audio receiver on your screen, don't worry about getting another HUD. Just click play audio or give note card. The other activity that we have here for you in the mining camp area is that you can actually pan for gold yourself. So you can come up here and you can make sure to read the sign carefully for instructions. And then on these pans here, you click and just wait for a moment, and you will be given a pan. So if you want to see what you're doing, again, use the camera controls here. So that's just clicking the icon down the bottom there, the button with the eye icon. And then you can rotate around and you can see what you're doing. You can move this, or you can close this, and you can see yourself panning there, panning for gold. You can actually, you can walk while you're panning. So if I want to get closer to the water where there might be more likelihood of gold, okay, I can also click my camera controls button. I can click mouse look, and I can see what I'm doing in mouse look, and we've actually got a piece of, we found ourselves a piece of gold in our pan there. All right, so to return back to my normal view, I click escape. And if I want to remove the pan and return back to my normal standing position, what I have to do is click the chat button here or hit escape to open the chat window. You won't get that. I had that open before. And then in the nearby chat window, just type detach, and the pan will be removed and you'll return to your normal posture. Okay, so if we want to go from here back to, well actually let's have a look quickly at our list here. So we've got the two simulations there. We've got the dance and social area called the Dance Dome. So again, you can click the link there and go directly, or what we might do is we might go back to the main hall. So if we walk back this way, and if we walk around, you'll see a sign here that says to teleport back to the main hall, main poster hall, walk through the door under the porch in front of this sign. So we walk over here, we walk, and we return back to the main hall here. So you can teleport around to each of these locations. So to go to the social area, the Dance Dome, it's over here. You will see, however, there are some areas here where people can sit if you want to sit and chat with anyone that you meet here in the virtual venue. But otherwise, if you want to go up and enjoy dancing, so you can read the sign here and then just walk over onto the platform. And you will arrive in the Dance Dome. Strongly recommend, first thing you do is click the sign here to make it nighttime. Okay, gives it a bit more atmosphere, but also if we look around here, and I'm going to click my mouse icon here on the camera controls. If I look up, oh, I can't see it. All right. So I probably should cut this one out of the video. Okay. I need to. No. So we look around here. Now, there is actually the planet Earth here. If you can't see it, what I recommend is hitting Escape on your keyboard. And then hitting Control P or Command P if you have an Apple Mac on your keyboard. So let's do that. Control P because I'm on a Windows computer, and it brings up the Preferences window. And you'll see here there is Draw Distance. So I'm going to increase my draw distance up to about, let's try 200, 220. Okay. So then I click OK. I get back to my mouse icon on the camera controls there. Click that. And if I look up, there it is. There is planet Earth. Okay. So let's return back to our normal view. So if we hit Escape, and we have returned back to our normal view. So you'll see here that we've got some people already dancing, and we've got our dance floor. We have what looks like a disco ball sort of up there. So what I would suggest, the first thing is that you click on the screen here and wait for a moment. All right, and you'll find that a YouTube video will eventually come up. I might walk a little closer just so we can see it more clearly. And
win at work by communicating effectively. With Grammarly,
you may have to put up with an ad or two.
I think.
But if you skip the ads just by clicking on it, you'll have music to dance to. Okay, now how do we dance? Very quickly, if I step back a little bit so I can see the ball above the screen, if I click on that ball, you'll see that there is a whole range of different dances that you can choose from. And if you click on the arrows down here, you'll see that there's quite a lot actually. So you can keep clicking through. If you see something you recognize, you might like to click that. If you don't see anything you recognize, then you can take your chances. Here is one that is very well recognized, Gangnam Style, so that's number 16. If I click number 16, I'll get a pop-up message here which is asking me to give permission, so I go yes, and we can see we are dancing Gangnam Style. And if we add in the music, okay, so I might just stop the music, and we stop the music by the normal means we would on YouTube. So clicking on the YouTube screen on this virtual screen here. So I hit escape to get back to my normal view. Now, if I want to talk to anyone in voice while I'm in the environment, down the bottom of my screen here, you'll see the speak button with a microphone icon. If I click that, you'll see above my head there are green radiating lines. And what that means is that I'm now speaking in the environment via the microphone, and you can tell whether somebody is speaking obviously by hearing them, but also by seeing the green lines on screen. If you're seeing the lines but you're not hearing them, you may need to adjust your volume. So up in the top right corner of your screen, you'll see there is a speaker icon. If you just hover over that and then bring your cursor down, you'll see things like voice. You can adjust the volume just for voice alone, and maybe that's set too low for you. Also for media, music, and so on. So that's one thing that you can do. if you can see somebody is talking and there are green lines but you're not hearing anything. The other thing that you can do is we can do another Control P or Command P on your keyboard. So press Control and P. You can then go into on the left here, Sound and Media, and then if you go down to Voice Input Output Devices, click that. You can run through all of the input devices you have. You might have to try a couple. You might have to try a couple until you hear sound. And the same for the output. And the same for the output. So I'm using a headset. Okay, so I'm using a headset. So I've chosen gaming headset. And you can clearly see from here this is showing that my voice and the ability to hear other people speaking. Okay, so when that's all set up. Okay, so when that's all set up, click OK, and then again to speak, just click the speak button down the bottom of your screen. When you want to stop speaking, just unclick it. All right, now I want to stop dancing. I've had enough dancing, so I click the ball again, and I choose stop, and that brings me back to my resting position. If I just finally want to return back to, oh no, actually, sorry, before we do that, let's just have a quick look. There is also some refreshments here as well. So we have beer, we have red wine. If, for example, I decide I'd like to have a beer, and of course it's virtual, but it's all part of creating that sort of atmosphere, I just click on the beer once, and the beer will appear in my hand, and shortly the drinking motions will start occurring, and then after several swigs of this beer, the amount of beer, the quantity of beer in there will actually go down until there's nothing. If I want to actually remove the beer glass from my hand, all I do is with my cursor right click and detach item, and it's gone. So the same for the wine, you can click that. The food, unfortunately, is not edible. Although if you click the birthday cake, there's a nice surprise there. There is coffee. If you decide that you want some coffee, it's just a matter of clicking on the machine. You will get a pop-up message with a choice here. On this machine, if I click espresso, which is my only choice, it asks me, do I want to attach to my avatar? So I go yes, just close that. And again, I'm going to use my camera controls just to change the angle there. And I can see that I have a cup of coffee in my hands, a cup of espresso. And again, if I want to get rid of that, I just right click and detach. The other place I can get coffee is here at the coffee machine. So if I click on that, again, I get a pop-up menu with some choices on it. Try and drag that over here. No, it's not going to let me drag it. Anyhow, you can see it for yourself. There's a number of choices there. Just choose whichever one you want. They're all basically the same. So we go for a latte big. It will then give you the latte up there. So you go keep. Now this one's a little more difficult. You need to find the suitcase icon on your screen. Click that, and that will bring up what is called your inventory. And what we need to do is open my inventory, go down to objects. Now I have a lot of objects, you won't have that many. Go down to objects, and I have a lot. You'll see here latte big. So basically if you right click the item, go down here and choose add. It's always best to choose add because otherwise it might remove a piece of clothing. So choose add, and then I can close that. I don't need that anymore. If I go back to my arrow, I cross here and the arrow, I can swing around. I can see there is my very large latte. Again, that is animated, so that will make the drinking movements, as you can see there. And then when I'm finished with that, I just right click it and detach item. Okay, so now what we want to do is just finally return back to the hall, the main hall. So I'm going to go through the teleporter, but of course we can always come back here and use these links if we like. Let me show you what happens if I click the link while the Second Life viewer is open. So it's a Word document. I need to control click. It gives me my map again. Visit this location. I click that. Click the pop-up up here. Go back to Second Life, and it opens a window here. This is because I'm already in Second Life. And then I can click teleport, and I can go back to the welcoming area, the welcome area. But I'd rather do it the fun way. So let's go up onto the teleporter, and it brings us straight back to the welcome area. Now you'll notice here that it's now quite dark. It's nighttime because I clicked the sign in the dance dome. Click the sign here, and it will return to daytime and much better light. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask the volunteers that are on duty in the virtual environment here. If they can't answer your questions, they'll get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out.